Hey you guys, a real quick side quest video. I had a question come up in the comment section and caught my attention, so I figured I would attempt to make a short video to answer it. The question is from Wild Man Bill 69 here on YouTube. The question goes, I have a question for you. I'm reading it verbatim. I have a question for you since you were/are a Chevy certified mechanic. This is true. I am being told by my Chevy dealer that Chevrolet corporate suggests that I have a quote crankcase flush unquote on my 2020 Silverado WT with the V8 gas. So it's probably a 5.3 or 6.2, and it now has 43,000 miles on the odometer. I added that last part. The comment then goes on to ask, and that I am, they say that they are 2 years overdue for the crankcase flush. The gentleman, Wild Bill, says he's never heard of such a thing. He's 67 years old and has been working on his own cars since he was 10 years old. When did you get a driver's license at 10 years old? Come on. No, I believe you. I learned how to drive at 9. He goes on to ask, is this flush required? And how could this be? Are there Chevy engines this much of a pile of junk? Please give me your opinion and I won't hold you accountable. I just need to know, please. Okay. So let's see here. Let me pick out the BS in what you said that they said to you. Chevrolet corporate does not call the dealerships and then tell them that these services are required. And what they're referring to are the engine flush treatments. I've got a can right here for a good example. This is called EPR. It's a BG product, not sponsored. That's just what I sell here. And the EPR stands for Engine Performance Restoration. It is accompanied with MOA, motor oil additive. So what this is it is a chemically engineered, heat-activated, decarbonizing and devarnishing compound. It's designed to remove buildup inside of the engine crankcase. So you get the sludge at the bottom of the oil pan, you get that coked up PCV oil that sort of coats everything in the valve train and the timing area. This stuff right here is designed to break that down and remove it before an oil change. So what you'll do is you'll dump a can of cleaner in there, and it doesn't have to be BG cleaner. You can use Amsoil cleaner, you can use Marvel mystery oil. All of those engine flush chemicals are very similar in their chemical composition. What makes the difference on those is how concentrated those really are. For example, you can go to the store and you can buy a gallon of washer fluid concentrate or washer fluid solvent for what, 8, 9, 10, 12 bucks a gallon, which is basically just methanol water with a blue tint, and you dump that in there and it's alcohol. So you can buy that for $8, $9 a gallon or whatever, how much it costs, or you can go on Amazon, you can buy a little bottle of concentrate and mix your own. So you take a quarter of a fluid ounce of that stuff, pour it in a gallon jug of water, and now you have recreated the same blue water for a fraction of the cost. So when it comes to these engine flush chemical compounds, usually what you get is a difference in concentration. Now that being said, it's not really a required thing, and this is why I call BS on GM corporate, because GM corporate is never going to say that you need to run chemical cleaners through their engine, because if they were to do that and your engine were to fail for any reason whatsoever, whether it was the flush or not the flush or improper usage, they're sort of on the hook for the liability for what has happened to that particular engine. Now, I'm not saying that that would happen, but it opens the door for litigation. Additionally, GM corporate and most of the other corporations, they are not going to give they're not going to give vehicle purchasers this laundry list of all of these different fluids and maintenances that it needs. Reason being is the OEMs, they sell to municipalities, ambulances, fire truck components, or fire trucks, cop cars, you name it, any kind of service vehicle, you know, just the grass cutting cars, the trucks that ride around and maintain the city lawn or the city grounds. Well, those are all purchased in bulk deals straight from the OEMs. Usually they're not purchased through the dealerships. They have an arrangement to buy those wholesale. Now, in order to get those kinds of contracts, they have to bid on them against other manufacturers. Because of that, when the municipalities go to evaluate what brand they're going to purchase, whether it be Chevrolet or Ford or, you know, maybe even Dodge. Some people are using Dodge Chrysler products. I don't know why. But regardless of which manufacturer they choose to purchase these products with, they're going to evaluate the cost of ownership. And cost of ownership isn't going to be including those maintenances. Now, this is going to take us full circle back to what they call the lifetime fluids. You know, you hear a lot of these transmission fluids, those are lifetime fluids, or the differentials are lifetime fluids. Well, they're not really lifetime, they're lifetime for the warranty, okay? So to say that we're going to sell you engines that need to have these flush maintenances done on them, what that's going to do is that's going to add to the cost of ownership per unit that is purchased by said municipality. And if the cost of ownership puts them out of their projected budget, they're going to lose the contract, and the OEMs are not going to sell those vehicles. So I can't really get behind the Chevrolet dealership telling you that corporate said that you're supposed to do those engine flush services, okay? So that's some BS. They're just trying to come at you from a position of authority, blaming it on corporate, rather than going, hey, our service managers are up our behind right now to sell these products that we have and sell these services that we have, because the reality is they're fairly high margin. I mean, you know, you buy this can of flush stuff right here for $20 and you sell it for $40 or $60. I don't mark my stuff up that much, but out in the real world, in the wild, those markups do exist, 300, 400, 500% on certain kinds of products. So I think they're just trying to make their budget in-house at the dealership. I do not believe that GM Corporate came down and said, you need to be doing this. I've never heard of such thing. There are no bulletins that require these services. It's not common. Warranty will not cover it. And that's the other thing. How are they going to offer a 100,000 mile, 10-year powertrain warranty, which is any lubricated part in the vehicle is covered under powertrain in most cases? They can't sell that warranty and then also require you to do certain maintenances. And so if you didn't do the oil flush maintenance and then your engine blows up, GM Corporate could then be like, hey, well, you didn't follow these recommended procedures, so you do not have warranty anymore. They can't do that. There's been litigation over the matter. So they can't require you to do any kind of fluid maintenances on the vehicles whatsoever. That's often why you will find that and the flip side, let me play devil's advocate here, you'll find that companies offer free oil changes for X amount of time, or sometimes even the life of the vehicle, at a discounted rate, because they need to make sure that you're doing those fluid services without requiring you to do those fluid services, because overall, over time, that's going to cut down on their warranty claims if they know the engine is at least lubricated. So as soon as they can get that thing out of that warranty period, then you're good to go. Now, circling back to these engine flushes, I do agree with them. I do sell them, and there's two ways of looking at those. So in your case, with a 40,000 mile V8 low mileage engine, it would be beneficial for you to utilize those services, because what that will do is prevent this type of buildup right here. See all that carbon varnish looking nasty coked up stuff? See all that? It will prevent that from building up. Now, those same products, they are able to break this down, but it's an effort. So one can of cleaner running through this thing is not going to clean all this out. But if you get a hold of a high mileage engine that is in this condition right here, I think this one has about 97,000, 9,800,000 on it, something like that. You get one in this condition and you do a year's worth of oil changes and you utilize an engine flush every time, then you take this engine apart, it's going to come out in a much better and cleaner condition. I mean, not brand new, but it's going to come out looking better than this right here. It's advised against using those when the engine is heavily sludged up. They can be effective, but you also are taking on some risk, because if you dump that into a sludged up Kia, yes, it's going to start removing that sludge. You need to make sure you've got good oil filters and you're able to watch your oil pressure, because if the event were to occur where a bunch of that sludge starts to come out of there, it has potential to block up filters or block up oil passages. It can clog VVT systems, things like that. It can happen. It's not very common, but those products can be used to clean the engines up, but they're better used at maintenance and prevention. So I sort of agree with what the dealership told you, but at the same time, I do have to call BS on their tactic, because the OEMs are never going to come at you and tell you you have to perform services on this, on your product or your vehicle or your engine. That's pretty much how that works, and that's done universally across most of the manufacturers. So I hope that answers the question with a little bit of clarity. And again, there's multiple different products that can be used to achieve such things. It's all about the concentration of that chemical that is inside of those cans. This is one of those things where reputation and time tends to weed out the fake, faux, junk, crappy products, and it exposes the better products, which we're actually working on that with some oil testing procedures. We're going to find out just how valid those cleaning products are, and we're going to use actual laboratory testing on those, using several oil changes from multiple locations around the country. I've got a few people involved in this one, and we're going to get some real life analyzed test data from actual engine samples. So I think what we did is we're going to get a vehicle that's at the end of its oil life. We're going to drain the oil out, take a sample of the oil before any engine flush took place. We're then going to put the same oil back into the engine, install a can of the flush, and that's not normally how you would do this, but for the sake of science, we need baseline numbers here. So we'll put in new oil, put a can of the flush solution in there, run it as per the directions, drain it, take a sample, and then we're going to send both of those samples as a pair to the lab to have it compared. Used engine oil, new engine oil with a flush, what happens after you run it and the flush stuff comes out, how much contamination can actually be found with a 15-minute flush cycle. But that's for another day. I'm saving that one for when we can get through enough oil change cycles to collect an appropriate amount of data. So I hope to see that project work out well in the future. I will keep you guys posted when it shows up. And again, I hope I answered that question. If anyone has any similar questions regarding procedures, dealerships, policies, warranties, things of that nature, I do have a little bit of inside information on such things. In fact, I have kind of a rant video that I made. It's not listed, but what I was discussing was how aftermarket third-party warranties that are sold at the dealership on a pre-owned or used car are a scam against the purchaser and the warranty department. So we've got fraud here, and I've got some real-life examples on how that works. Now, like I said, I have not yet posted that video. I'm saving it for probably when I'm out of town, and I have nothing to post for you guys. But what I will do, since I mentioned it, is I will leave a link to that unlisted video down inside of this video's description below, and I will also leave that same link at the pinned comment. So if you would like to get early access to watching my scam video rant about warranty department fraud, just click one of those two links and it'll take you to my super secret unlisted video. So guys, that being said, that will end my moment of videography, shameless promotion. That's completely the wrong words. That'll end my my moment of shameless self-promotion in video form. Let me know what you think about that concept after you watch that second video unlisted in that video's comment section down below. Again, register your opinions on the current situation on these engine flushes in this comment section down below. Do not forget to engage that like and subscribe button while you're down there. And most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later. End of this video. End of transmission.